In this video, I'm going to go over some problems from the final exam review, the second packet you received. I'm going to skip around just to address some of the problems that I feel like a lot of students have asked questions on or struggled with. Starting with number two. Number two is just a one-step equation. I know it's been a while since we've seen something like this. The equation x divided by 3 equals 14. I know when I solve an equation, I got to get x by itself. So my goal is to get rid of the divided by 3. Well, when we solve an equation, we do the opposite. So what's the opposite of dividing by 3? The opposite is times 3. So I'm going to multiply this by 3. What I do on one side, I do to the other, and that gets me x equals 42. Number 3, it is similar, except it is a two-step equation. You have to get rid of the 10 and get rid of the divided by 4. Then the minus 10 is further away, so I'm going to get rid of that first. The opposite of subtracting is adding, which means that x over 4 is left on the left side, equals negative 3 plus 10 is 7. Again, x is being divided by 4. To get rid of division, we multiply. I'm actually going to be honest with you and tell you, you will not see something like 2 and 3 on the final exam. This is just me reviewing with you this type of format. It does become pretty significant, pretty important in geometry. So it's very important that you just don't forget how to get rid of the divided by. I'm going to skip to number 7 and 8. Number 7 and 8, these are just general equations, but in these you'll find that we have variables on both sides, which means that we could come across no solution, infinitely many solutions. Remember that no solution is when you get a false statement. So like 3 equals 4. Exactly one solution means you're going to get one number. For example, x equals 10. You got one answer. Infinitely many solutions is when you get a true statement. So like 3 equals 3. At least two solutions we've never had. It's not possible for us in Algebra 1, so no one should ever select C. If I go up to number 7, I notice there's parentheses. Anytime there's parentheses, we always want to get rid of those first by distributing. There's an invisible 1 in front of the V. Negative 3 times 1 is negative 3V. Negative 3 times positive 4, that's negative 12. And then I'm just bringing down what's left on the other side. Technically, my second step is to combine like terms, but there's nothing for me to combine on this side, and there's nothing for me to combine on this side. The next step is to move the variables to one side. That means this positive 2b right here, we always try to move the one on the right. I want to move it to the left. Since it's positive, I'm going to subtract it. What I do on one side, I do to the other. Negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5v minus 12 equals negative 37. Notice now it's just a general two-step equation. We've solved many of these. I'm going to rewrite it up here, give myself some space. To get rid of subtraction, I'm going to add. Negative 5v equals negative 25. Divide both sides by negative 5. V equals positive 5. Since I have one answer, my variable equals one number, The answer would be B. There is exactly one solution to this equation. Number 8, there is a negative in front of the parentheses. Technically, there's a -1 if I put the 1 there. So that means I have to get rid of the parentheses by distributing. -1 times +3, -3. -1 times -6 is +6. So 6b, bring down the right side. Again, there's nothing for me to combine on the left, and there's nothing for me to combine on the right. That means I'm going to move my variables to the same side. This positive 6b on the right, I'm going to subtract it. What I do on the right, I do on the left. They cancel on both sides. They're opposites. Here, 6b minus 6b, opposites cancel. 6b minus 6b, cancel. All I'm going to bring down is what's left. So the -3, the equals, and the 5. -3 equals 5. That is a false statement. Those are not the same number. So this one is no solution. Moving on, we're going to skip all the way to number 11. Number 11, solve each equation for the indicated variable. There have been multiple questions on 11, but there have been almost no questions on 12. And I think because 12 we have solved so many times in class, just with different numbers. But 11 always throws us off because there's so many letters. In this equation, they want us to solve for y. So they want me to get this letter by itself. That means I have to get rid of the A, and I have to get rid of the B. The B is further away. It's not attached like the A. So I'm going to get rid of the B first. It's being added, so I'm going to subtract. What I do there, I do on the other side. X minus B. There's no way for me to actually subtract letters, so I'm going to leave it as X minus B equals AY. When there's two things next to each other, A and Y, with no operation, those are being multiplied. It's kind of like if there was a 4y, 4 times y. So to get rid of multiplication, I'm going to divide. What I do there, I do there. So my answer, X minus B over A equals Y. Or if you're not comfortable with it like that, I'm just going to flip it. Y equals, I put that first, X minus B over A. Take your time with these. I know sometimes you get overwhelmed. Ask yourself what makes sense. After this one, we're going to skip all the way to absolute value equations. Inequalities overall, there hasn't seemed to have been a big issue. They're just equations with inequality signs. There have been lots of questions on absolute value equations, mainly because the one we did in class as bell work looked like number 15. So everyone has been able to do number 15. The absolute values by itself. So that means you just make the two cases. So 6x plus 3 equals 57. 6x plus 3 equals -57. Remember, we create a positive case and a negative case because there are two sides of 0. There's a positive side and a negative side. From here, I know you can solve that one on your own, so I'm going to stop there. I'm going to focus more on 16. 16. There have been students that have said, I distributed the 6, but that's a big No, we do not distribute into absolute value bars. We only distribute when there's parentheses. So how do I get rid of this 6? Because I cannot make my special cases, my two cases, until I get rid of the 6. 6 is being multiplied with the absolute value. So to get rid of multiplication, I'm actually going to divide. What I do on one side, I do to the other. That leaves me with a minus 3 in absolute value bars equals 9. Now that the absolute value is by itself, now we're going to make the two cases, which is a minus 3 equals positive 9, a minus 3 equals negative 9. You have to isolate the absolute value first. Number 17, similar. There's a minus 9 on the outside. So you cannot take the two cases until you get rid of the minus 9. How do you get rid of minus 9? We add 9. That means that I get the absolute value of 10n equals 40. Now that the absolute value is by itself, this is where you make two cases. 10n equals positive 40. 10n equals negative 40. And again, you can solve from this. I was just helping you get to this step. You know how to solve equations. 18 is like number 15. I'm going to be completely honest with you and tell you what you see on the final is going to be more like 15 and 18, which is you're going to go straight into the two cases. 16 and 17 is me more reminding you of the process of isolating the absolute value. So again, repeat that. The one on your final is going to be like 15 and 18, where you just go straight into the two cases. The absolute value will already be by itself. Moving on to topic 2. Number 4, that's where I'm going to start off. What is point slope form? Point slope form is the one that we rarely use. It's very common in geometry though, so it is important. We just do not use it in algebra 1. Point slope form is this. Point slope form is y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. And if you remember, m is my slope, x1, y1 is the point that I need. So that's why it's called point slope form, because you need a point and you need a slope. Point slope form. So number 5, write the equation in point slope form. Remember, just a good habit, as soon as it tells you how your answer should look, write it down for yourself. Y minus y1 equals m x minus x1. Write the equation in point slope form of the line that passes through negative 2, 6 and has a slope of 4. In order to write this equation, I need x1, y1, and m. They give me all of those. This first number, negative 2, that's my x1. The 6, that's my y1. My slope, obviously, is m. Slope is how we move. Now I just need to put the numbers in the correct spots. Y minus 6 equals 4. X minus negative 2. This is where some students might make a mistake and not put the negative 2, but it is negative, so I'm going to put it in there. However, even though we did you did do it correctly, you will not see this answer on the test because we never subtract negative in this class. When you subtract the negative, a negative times a negative is a positive. So what you would see, y minus 6 equals 4x plus 2. And that is what you would see as a choice. Number 6 is an extension of number 5. Write the equation in point slope form. So again, as soon as I read that, I'm going to tell myself, okay, this is what my answer should look like. Of the line that passes through negative 4, 2 and negative 1, 6. As I mentioned previously, in order to write point slope form, you need a point and you need a slope. You have 2 points, but you do not have a slope. So this is where you need to go off to the side and find the slope. This is x1, this is y1, this is x2, this is y2. Using my slope formula, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to plug in the numbers into their correct spots. So 6 minus 2, negative 1 minus negative 4. That's going to give me 4 over 3. So this is my m. Now I have everything I need. I need a point and I need a slope. Here's my point, here's my slope. Okay, so y minus y1, which is 2, equals m, which is 4 over 3, x minus negative 4. But I'm going to change this right here, minus a negative. Y minus 2 equals 4 thirds, x plus 4. A negative times a negative is a positive. From here, I'm going to skip to number 9. There's usually a ton of mix-up between number 9 and number 11. Number 9, what is the x-intercept and y-intercept of the graph of 8x minus 4y equals negative 24? To find the x-intercept, we plug 0 in for y. To find the y-intercept, we plug 0 in for x. So if I do the x-intercept, I'm writing the equation 4x minus 4, y goes away, 0 goes in. Now I can solve this. Negative 4 times 0, 0, gone, canceled. What's left? 8x equals negative 24. How do I get rid of the 8? I divide. So x equals negative 3. My x-intercept is negative 3. We do not write it as x equals negative 3. Remember, that's a line on a graph. Just tell me negative 3. To find the y-intercept, we plug 0 in for x. So 8, x goes away, 0 goes in, minus 4y equals negative 24. 8 times 0, gone. Negative 4y comes down. Divide both sides by negative 4. And I'm going to get y equals 6. That's my y-intercept. Remember, you are allowed a note card, so this needs to go on your note card. Put this on your note card. If I scroll back, if you need to put point slope form on your note card, that can go on your note card. What else did we do? Absolute value equations. You can write that and then put make two cases. You can put that on your note card. You can give yourself descriptions of how to solve this. This one's really tough to write anything for. You can put what these answers would look like. No solution means false statement. Exactly one solution means x equals a number. Infinitely many means true statement. All right, so that was number 9, finding intercepts. Number 11, which is a solution to the equation. I see many students, after they do number 9, they do the same thing for number 11. They try to find intercepts. That is not what you do here. A solution is an ordered pair, so a point that makes the equation true. So what we have to do is plug in all of these points and see which one makes it a true statement. For example, I'm going to do A. This is X, this is Y. 6, take X out, 4 goes in, plus 4, take Y out, 8 goes in. These get multiplied, that's 24, that's 32, and 24 plus 32, that's 56. Is 56 equal to 78? No, this is a false statement, so that means A is not the answer. Then I have B, C, D,